Stampers, it's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Klock, coming to you live tonight from my studios here in Middletown, Virginia. I hope everyone is having a good evening. And the reason I'm coming to you tonight is to kind of show you some non-traditional Christmas cards. I've been working on my designs for the Christmas Stamp-A-Stack happening this Sunday. I still have space available. If anybody wants to pop in, you can just RSVP on my Stampin' with Crafty Klock's Facebook page under the events. There is an event there, and you can go ahead and just RSVP so I know how many to cut for. So these are the two designs that we're going to be working on tonight. And I wanted to show you how you can use some of our big background stamps and pair them with bits and pieces of other sets to really create some really fun and unique Christmas cards. So these are two of the designs you can choose from. Let me just show you real quickly some of the other designs we have for Sunday. Ooh, we have this one, and we have, of course, these adorable little penguins. How cute are they? Kind of just a basic country Christmas. Love my snowmen, absolutely love them. And then just one more final design. So those are just some of the ones that you can choose from our buffet. You get to make 10 cards, two each, of 5 designs. And right now we've got about 7 different designs from you to pick from. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one I'm going to do features our birch background stamp. The sentiment is from our poinsettia petals, which was out last year and is still there. It's still available this year. And then we have some of our new, coming from our new holiday catalog, these new pine cone dies from the seasonal label dies. And this die was also from the seasonal label dies. The pine branches were from poinsettia petals. So I've kind of pulled some of the stuff that I already have, and I just wanted to kind of show you how you can take what you already have and make some really pretty cards. So let's go ahead and get started. For this card, I'm going to use a background base of Sahara sand, and I'm going to use very vanilla for my inside piece and for my labels. So my card base is 8.5 and 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of I just want to use my bone folder in there for a minute. I have a piece of very vanilla, and I want to stamp my Merry Christmas sentiment in there. And I'm going to stamp that in early espresso. And because these are photopolymer dies, the poinsettia petals, or what was it, poinsettia, oh my goodness, I can't even think of the name. Poinsettia petals, because it's photopolymers, I am using my Stampin' Pierce mat. So I'm just going to stamp this Merry Christmas. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and put that on the inside of our card base, if I can find, which I just had, my my seal. I don't know where it went to. Literally just had it because I literally just finished putting the sample together. I love when I do that. It drives me absolutely bonkers. There it is. Like, I know I have it. I even have a refill over here at the ready, because I think I'm going to need the refill pretty soon. All right. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to put that on the inside of our card base. And I always manage to get really inky fingers. I don't know how I managed to do that. Then I have another piece of Sahara sand that is also 5 1/4 by 4. And for this, we're going to need our Stamparatus, which again, I thought I had brought over here, but apparently I did not. Did I leave it on the other table? You know, I really think that I am losing my mind. There it is. Okay. Some days I really worry about me some days. Now, we're not going to use the magnets for this because it is such a big stamp. So I'm just going to kind of lay my paper kind of where I want it. Make sure I'm going to get this all under my stamp. And I'm going to just pull this out for a minute. And I'm going to ink this up again in our early espresso. I didn't even have time to clean it from my sample card. Okay, I'm just going to ink this all up. We want to make sure that we get this nice and inky All right. And then I am going to just lay it down and press. Okay, I want to make sure I get this good in one because, there we go. Perfect. Let me take that off. Let me just wipe off my platform because we're going to use it for our other background stamp, which is the spiral die. Okay. Oops, there we go. Okay. Now, here we go with our spiral die. We're going to go ahead, sorry, not the spiral die, with our birch background stamp. We're going to go ahead and adhere that to it. We're going to do a little heat embossing tonight. I love to do some heat embossing. I don't do it nearly enough, but I do think it adds just a little something extra to a card. All right, got that down. Now I went ahead and from our seasonal labels dies, I went ahead and I die cut 3 pine cones, 1 big one and 2 little ones. And I also cut the label that I'm going to be using. Now from our poinsettia petals, I stamped on evergreen, evening evergreen with evening evergreen ink. I just stamped 2 of these pine boughs, and we're going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and put these on. But before we do that, I kind of wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to my pine cones, so I just kind of made some, I don't know, little lines with my Wink of Stella, kind of making it look like the tips of the pine cone. I hope it looks like the tips of the pine cone. Again, that just was to add a little bit more interest to these pretty plain, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really like the stamps that went with these dies. So I didn't want to buy the stamp set, but I really liked the dies, and I'll show you all of them in a minute because they had some really great shapes for labels. But I thought I could still use the pine cones. I guess that makes them look just a little bit more pine cone-ish. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to add these to our card base. I'm just going to kind of put these in the corner, the lower left-hand corner. And there's really no rhyme or reason. I just kind of was just sticking things in to see how I liked them. Okay. But I think that Wink of Stella just gives the pine cones just a little bit of personality and keeps them from being so bland. Because really, we don't have a lot going on with this card. It's really all about just sort of keeping it. So there we have that. So we have that. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp, again, a sentiment from our poinsettia petals that says, "May magic and wonder bloom this holiday season." I think I'm going to put that on there. I had it. I did have it. I had it out specifically so I could use it. Okay, folks, we're just going to take a breath. We're going to relax and regroup because I had that over here and now I don't know where I put it. Found it. All right. So don't forget to use your little, I don't know, crafters, whatever this is, like a little bag to sort of take off the static, because we want to make sure that we keep it nice and clean and we don't get a lot of extra embossing powder on there. Now I'm going to use Versamark. This kind of looked a little crooked on my block. All right. All right, I'm just going to stamp it there. All right. Now I'm going to use gold embossing powder. I'm going to emboss this in gold. I'm just going to shake some out. Okay. All right. I don't like, needs a little bit more on that May. Okay. All right, let me just put the rest of this back into its container. Otherwise we'll have embossing powder everywhere. And that's not where I want it. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's bring this back in. And it's going to be a little bit loud just while I do this with my heat tool, so bear with me. but it does go pretty quick. And you can tell as soon as it starts to get shiny, then you know that it's sort of set and it's good to go. Just a little bit more. Okay, that looks good. Okay. All right, so now we have that. I'm going to put this on. Again, I'm going to pop it up with some dimensionals. And don't forget, if you're here, leave me a comment or let me know that you're watching, because I always raffle off the cards I make, like on Monday. So, you know, you might have a chance to win them. It's just my little way of saying thanks for joining us and for watching. I appreciate your support. Okay. We're going to put that right there, and there we have our first card done. So again, it's really a non-traditional Christmas card. We really just did it using our big background stamp, and we added some bits and pieces from other sets. So you may have other sets at home that you can sort of combine to make some nice holiday cards. All right, let's go on. I'm not going to lie, this next one is really kind of my favorite. This is using the spiral die stamp, and I just adore this stamp. And this these little leaves were with the new this is from the celebration coming up. It is Bedazzling specialty paper. It's 6x6. I did cut it with my die cut machine. It worked okay. And we're just going to go ahead and make this one now. So for this one, I used, again, the spiral die, and then I used some sentiments from the Tidings and Trimmings stamp set. This is new this year in our annual catalog, so you can go ahead and get this right now. So let's go ahead and let's stamp our inside sentiment. And I'm going to stamp this in Cherry Cobbler. All right. Okay. And I always look like I'm putting this on upside down. Again, these are photopolymers. So I'm going to pull back in my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm going to take my Cherry Cobbler, and we're just going to stamp this. And then we're going to put this inside. And remember, hey, Vicki, how are you? And remember, I always say stamp it first before you adhere it, because if you make a mistake, you can flip it over. Okay. So, there we go. Let's go ahead and put this in. Oh, I don't know why it always does that to me. All right. So, and the colors for this, my card base is Cherry Cobbler. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Evening Evergreen that is 5 1/4 by 4. I have a piece of Basic White that is 5 by 3 3/4, and then I punched with, from the Elegantly Said suite, I punched out a little label because I just kind of liked this. And I also punched out, I also didn't punch, I die cut some of the holly leaves, again, from the specialty labels and dies set. There were some big holly leaves in there, and I just happened to like the way these looked. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on our tie-dye. I love this. This gets me so excited. Okay, so I do need a piece of washi tape. I'll be right back. Bear with me for 1 minute. I thought I had a piece over here, but I don't. And I'm putting the washi tape on the back. And the reason I'm doing that is because sometimes washi tape can tear your cardstock. So I'm going to put this on the back, because if the back gets a little mucked up, I'm not going to be too upset. All right, so now I have my big spiral tie-dye stamp set. So I'm going to come in first with some Cherry Cobbler. And I am wearing a sweater down here because my husband likes to keep the house really cold, and I'm in the basement, and it's even colder down here. So we have very different ideas of what a comfortable temperature is, but I figure I can always throw on a sweater or put a blanket on. Easier for me to put something extra on to keep warm. Okay, I'm going to press this down. Ooh, let me get a little bit better. Okay. Oh, I don't like how that's coming up on the top. That's what I love about the Stamparatus, is that because it stays in the right spot, there we go, much better. Now I am going to pick this up just for a minute because I need to clean this off. And of course, I don't have any more baby wipes down here. I need to restock. All right. Good enough for now. Now I am going to take one of my, by the time this night is over, my hands are going to look like, I don't know what, but they're all covered in ink, and it actually gets more ink on doing it this way. But you know what? It's okay. It'll be okay. That's what sinks and soap are for, right, folks? Okay. Let me just see if I can make sure I don't get it on my hands. All right. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this in just slightly off. And that's okay. I want that because I want my green. I'm going to stamp it in Evening Evergreen now. I wanted to kind of fill in some of those white spaces from where the red was. So I'm just turning it. There's absolutely no science to this, no rhyme or reason. I just kind of liked the way it came out. So it's not going to be everywhere. There will be some areas that aren't going to have the green. Hey Deb, how are you? Okay, let's see if we can get a little bit better green adhesion on there. Okay. There we go. All right. So now I've got my green on there. Now I am going to just put this off to the side for now. I'll just do this because I need to clean it, but we'll do that after. Boop, there we go. Okay, so now we're ready. Now we can start layering it up. So I'm going to start layering it up this way. I'm going to put my basic white on top of my Evening Evergreen. And then we're going to put that on top of the Cherry Cobbler. And oh, I'm out of ink. What do you know? Okay. There we go. Let me just quickly refill my adhesive. I do like these because they're pretty easy to refill. Just kind of drop it in and go. And we are ready. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put this on here. All right. I'm going to go this way. Now, here's another little thing, another little kind of, I don't know, it's not really a trick, but just something I did. I took my Wink of Stella and I just brushed it in the white space. Just in the white space. You don't want to brush it anywhere else. I just kind of wanted to give that white space a little tiny bit of sparkle. So I'm just going to go in where I have a little bit of white and just put a little tiny bit of my Wink of Stella. I think it just added just enough of a little something, something. Okay. So it doesn't add much, but it just adds enough. Then I'm going to say, may your days be merry and bright, which was, again, from our Tidings and Trimmings stamp set. And again, we're going to stamp this in Cherry Cobbler. And I have already punched out my label with the punch from the Elegantly Said suite. Just pull my Stampin' Pierce mat back in. Okay, now, make sure we have the words going the right way. All right, So we've got that. Now I have my holly berries, or my holly leaves, and I am just going to go ahead and put these on here. Just kind of, again, there's really no rhyme or reason to how I do it. I just kind of eyeball it and decide what I like. I think I want to put the smaller one with that one. Okay, and then we'll put the bigger one up here. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our Stampin' Dimensionals. And we're going to go ahead and don't forget to use the ends. The ends are fine to use. Use them all because they still count as dimensionals. So don't waste them. Just kind of cut them up and put them on. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I'm going to put that kind of right there. And then I'm going to tie a little bow with our new evergreen sheer ribbon. Okay. This is sometimes the hardest part is making these silly little bows. Okay. And again, just, you know, get it to where you like it. I think that's good. I'm not going to mess with it too much. I'm just going to cut it on a little angle. I'm going to take a little glue dot and we're just going to put that right at the top of our little tag. Whoops. With our glue dot. And there you have it. 2 very non-traditional Christmas cards really made using our background stamps. So I hope you like these tonight. Do look for some of these new items that will be coming in our holiday catalog. I think you'll really like the Bedazzled paper through our celebration. And again, that's starting August 3rd. Again, I have seats available for my Stamp a Stack Christmas in July shop coming this Wednesday. So thanks so much for, not this Wednesday, oh my goodness, coming this Sunday. I am losing my mind today, folks. That's it for me at this episode of Stampin' with Crafty Klock. I'll see you next Thursday. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.